Welcome back for part 2 in my video series. This part is An Afternoon with Fred Markoff. Fred Markoff is the chef-owner of Fred Hots and Fries in Glenview, Illinois. Now, Fred wasn't always a chef, but he always grew up knowing that he loved food. His mother was an avid foodie, and she would often take him and his brother to eat out at many a fine restaurant. He has frequented many a five-star restaurant in his time. This, although, did not get him into a career of food. He started off with a degree in computer science and marketing and spent quite a few years in the field of sales and computer science. After a while, though, Fred realized this was not for him, and he moved to a few job fairs looking for something in another field of management, food service management. He got a start working for the Burger King Corporation, managing a few of their chains. After a while there, he was recruited to go to a nicer restaurant, working management there. Fred moved around a bunch and ended up working on a cruise ship as the head steward and also the sanitation officer. After a short stint there, ship life being very hard, he ended up moving to Cisco Systems, back into sales. There he learned out a lot more about the world of food. As his time went there, he realized this was not his passion as well, and started brainstorming the idea for Fred Hots and Fries. It took him a while to find the right place and the right menu to get it up and running. He spent some time talking with Doug, the owner of Hot Dogs, using him as a loose basis for his idea. They spent much time talking, and through this he got a better sense of what he wanted to do. This is when Fred really got into the grit of the food service world, and where we will go to talk about his managing techniques. Up until this point, Fred had mainly done front of house management, nothing involving the kitchen, but this was a whole new animal, and he had to learn new things to work with this. Fred takes a very good, his style of management is very interesting. He goes in, and he believes that the way to motivate your team, to have a good team, is just to pay well, treat well, and show them respect. These are the three founding principles of his management style. He believes that if you treat your employees with respect, they will return in kind. This obviously doesn't always work, as there are often instances between employees or outside influences, but he seems to have it does quite well. Along these lines, when he's looking for a new person, it's very important to find somebody that is very comfortable with themselves. His restaurant is a very open kitchen, a very small establishment, being a quick service restaurant. He finds it very important to have somebody that is comfortable in that situation. And so it's very early in his interviews he can see whether the person is really comfortable dealing with such close customer interactions. He also wants to make sure that his potential employees have a sense of urgency in their work. This is one of the things he found with some of the culinary students that came through. He felt that they had an unrealistic expectation of how they were to be treated and what the world would be like. They didn't have that sense of urgency that he so requires in such a quick service restaurant when all is made from scratch and cooked to order. This isn't to say that he wouldn't consider hiring them. He just has noticed that sometimes this happens. But after hiring, we take this through training. He explained to me that the way of training he finds most suitable is shadowing or ghosting his best employee. He just sticks them on them and has them just do everything he does. This way they can learn the right way to do everything from the best person. And there's no question about getting bad habits ingrained. This prevents other problems with that would draw cause for firing. though Fred takes a very straightforward approach to firing. His first approach is he tries to get the person to quit. It's good on a paperwork level, but sometimes it doesn't always work. At that point, he just sits down with them and basically says, this is how it is. It's either my way or the highway. Because if they can't work in his system and they're having trouble, well, he'd rather just not have them there than have them continue to cause trouble. If this can't be happening, sometimes the conflicts are not between Fred and the employees. Sometimes they're between two other employees. In this case, he hopes that they'll be able to settle the differences outside of an issue. But if not, he'll have to let go of the person who just isn't as valuable to the team. One of the ways he prevents strange conflicts between him and his staff, he has no social relationship with his crew. He doesn't go out drinking. There's no socializing. They don't come over for dinner with his family or play pin the tail on the donkey on the 4th of July. He keeps it very professional in the kitchen. While there's a camaraderie and respect that goes on, it never crosses the line from owner, employer, and employee to friends, which can cause an awkwardness in the kitchen. And along these lines, he also believes that if you're going to give somebody criticism, make it constructive and do it in private. Never chew somebody out in front of the rest of the crew. It really builds dislike and animosity amongst the team. From all this, I asked Fred at the end of the day, if you could go back and tell yourself anything starting this business, what would you tell yourself? He told me that he would work harder, manage his staff better, watch his costs, and do more himself. He said going in he didn't realize quite where the cost would be and how it would work. But he said that overall it was a great decision. After my interview with Fred, I had a good long look over my notes and thought about what he said. I believe that his management style has a lot of boons to it, but it obviously still needs some work and a little bit of fine-tuning. And obviously, since his restaurant is slightly different than a lot of the fine dining establishments, that'll be different as well. But I feel that his experience coming up on the front of the house management side has brought a unique view and twist to how he manages the back of the house as well. All in all, Fred Markoff, kudos to you, and I will be eating at your establishment in the near future, and I recommend all of you who watch this video to do the same. Thank you, and good night.